Hello YouTube. So in today's video, I'm gonna talk about risk management plan that I actually use for FTMO, MyForexFunds, and probably for other platforms as well in the future, because that's what working for me. And even when I change something, I don't want to really changing a lot of what's already working, right? So the first thing I want to talk about is just buying a challenge that you can afford to lose, because most of the time for new trader, even me, when I try a funding talent, I usually buying quite a huge account, and when I got to the live phase, I just start another funding challenge using trade copy and trying to scale up as much as possible, and it's all about getting bigger and bigger. But the thing is, if you don't have a lot of capital and you try to swing for a really huge account, that means you are gonna spend a lot of money upfront, and that's gonna put a lot of unnecessary pressure to your trading, and that not really a good thing. So when I say that buying a challenge you can actually afford to lose, it means that when you go for that challenge, it should not more than like 5 or for maximum is 10% of your capital, because if it's more than that, then you're gonna have a lot of pressure, like trying to win. Because if you don't win, then you're gonna lose all of the money that you put in, and it's basically just like a trade on your live account. And imagine that you have only $1,000 as your capital, and you spend all of that $1,000 going all in for a challenge. How does that feel? It's gonna be like every trade is like or death, because you don't have anything left. So when you don't have anything to back up your life, and even worse, you don't have a job, and all you have right now is your phase 1 FTMO account, MyForexFunds account. Imagine how much pressure you actually subconsciously put on yourself, and every decision you make on that account, every trade you make, is gonna be really difficult. So the first one, don't buy a challenge you could not afford to lose. Just buy something you can afford to lose, okay? The second one, don't use trade Copier. Don't use trade Copier too soon, because if you got to a live fund, I say this because I actually use trade Copier for a few months, and honestly, the trade Copier is actually a beautiful way for us traders to actually scale up. But when we are not ready, it's actually not really that easy. Like when I have my 400k FTMO account, I just think that, well, I'm gonna buy more challenge, I'm gonna get funded more, and then I just connect every account together and manage 7 fingers, financial freedom, travel, have a like but it doesn't work that way, especially when you just have your very first account funded by FTMO or any platform. Focus. The very first thing you can do, I think the best thing you can do, is that just trade that account, get to profits, and then when you wait for that profits, when you wait for that payment split, well, just go and purchase another challenge and trade that new challenge account. That is how it should be. And even you have a like two live funded account, you should not link them together. You just trade one, get some profit, and just lay them aside and trade the second one. So the worst scenario is that you lost one account and you still have a one to trade. So it actually feel like you have something to back up. And when you have I know that you may not make a lot of profits by doing so, but it help you, like it help your performances really a lot, because when you have something to back up, like you still have one account, you just trade one account at a time, you have one account to back up your trading. So it feels really nice, and like you can really focus on your trading instead of worry that if I lose that account, I'm gonna do the challenge all over again. That is the beauty of having some account to back up your trading. So the second thing is that don't use the trade copier. I mean, don't use the trade copier too soon. You can do it in the future when you get consistency and when you feel like you are really ready. But like me in the past few months, it's quite obviously that I was not ready, and I tried to swing for too big account, and eventually if I win, I got like 1 million funded, but then when I lose that account, I lost like 4 accounts linked together using trade copier. So not really a good feeling. It's gonna really feel, I mean, you don't want to be in that situation, and I have been there, and I hope that you will not be there. The third one is a question that I think a lot of people wonder, is that should you cut your risk after a losing trade? Well, personally, I do cut my risk after I lose a trade. Before you think something like, oh, you shouldn't do this, or wow, that's a good idea, whatever. So the thing is, risk management, it is kind of a dynamic topic where they are trader, they trade fixed risk and they still make money. And they are trader, they cut their risk to manage and to flat their equity life, and they still profitable. So there are like different techniques to manage your drawdown, but the thing is, what fit you the most, and in order to see it for real, you actually have to put this kind of technique into practice, into like trading. And for me, in the past few years, all I do is I use the fixed risk too, and usually 1%, 2% on my light account. That is actually standard in the industry. But after learning ICT, when I saw the risk management techniques that I use, especially cutting the risk to flatline the equity curve, and I tried it, and as you already know, I passed a lot of challenge using the same technique, and I only cut my risk once, and I increased my risk again after a winning trade. And that's what is really working for me. And so I changed my risk management from fixed risk to cutting the risk to half after a losing trade. So that's what working for me. But I have to trade it first before I can actually come into conclusion. So you have to backtest, forward testing, whatever you feel like, but you need to see it by yourself, because what's working for me may not be working for you. It's just like you heard a lot of saying like you should not be adding to a losing position, right? But what if I tell you that they are actually a trader making a huge amount of money using that technique. So it all depends on how we just we are different human being, and it's all about how we approach different things. And I don't think there's only one way to do trading or anything else in life. There are different ways to approach it, and probably there are things that may not be working for me, but it's really working extremely well for others. So that's what you should consider. So this is kind of open topic. So I'm gonna talk about how I manage risk, or my risk management plan when I do trading challenge for FTMO and MyForexFunds. So as you already know, FTMO and MyForexFunds, they have a different max drawdown, right? So for FTMO it's 10%, and for MyForexFunds it's 12%. So looking at the phase ones, here is two kinds of risk management to consider. So the first one, the one that I actually use, is that I actually cut in risk after a losing trade. So in case that I actually lose all the time, then you can see that here we have to 20,000, which is a max drawdown. So what does that mean? That means I have a 9 trade before I actually lose the challenge. So that is the moral of the story. And for my first fund, same risk, same parameter, I will have 11 trade. So you can see that if you are new, my first fund actually have a cheaper price, and that from this comparison with better max drawdown, it actually give you like cheaper price and more room to trade. So I think it is better for beginner. Just avoid the high impact news trading, and I think you should be fine. Most people complain about slippage of my first fund, but I think it's not really a problem because you can avoid it. But people still trade in high news impact time and complain about slippage, even they know that it's just a fact. And for fixed risk, you can see they are, I think, well, with fixed risk, I think you get basically the same, right? So when people see I risk like 4,000 on my trade, they think it's too big. But the thing is, I cut it if I lose. So if I win, so for this parameter, when I lose one trade, I cut my risk to half. And then if I keep losing, I keep the same risk. Some other trader, they may cut their risk 3 times, 4 times, but I just feel like this is what's really working for me, and I don't really want to cut my risk too small. It just feel not for me. And if I win one trade, let's say this trade I win, then the next trade I'm gonna increase my risk back to 4,000, and if I win again, I'm gonna keep risking 4,000 until I pass. Does that make sense? And that is because you need to understand that phase 1, you need to consider it's like competition type trading. It's not really a real trading, because real trading, you should not be forced to have a certain amount of profits. When prop firm, they ask for 10% in 30 days, it's like a competition already. And that's why I say in the beginning of the video, when you risk like you already have only 9 times to try, but when you lose like 3 trade or 4 trade in a row, it doesn't matter how you manage your risk. Usually you're gonna get an emotional swing. You're gonna feel not really good, and that's gonna impact your performances a lot. And who know, before you get into night trade, you already all in, right? So that is a fact. Most people think that they can just did it to like to big risk, but the thing is, after when you risk too small, you're not gonna pass because you are limited to only 30 days of trading. 30 days, but only I think 20 days of trading, and weekend is not counting. So that is a problem. You can accept it for what it is, and that's the reason why in the beginning of the video I'm gonna say that, and I'm gonna say it again. You should not buy a challenge that you could not afford to lose, because when you could not afford to lose, you cannot do this. You cannot. It's like feeling like every trade is just, yeah, that's too much for. So but when you actually buy a challenge, just a small one, and even you lose that challenge, you still okay. It's not really a huge impact on your life or your trading journey. Then risks like this is just not really a problem. You can live with it, and you can pass because your emotional is in check. But when you buy a challenge that is too big for your capital, well, good luck, because that's what I did. So on the phase 2, you can see that on the phase 2 the target is cut down to half compared to phase 1. And when the target is cut down to half, what does that mean? That means I actually cut my rate to half as well. So 4,000 and 2,000, it turned to 2,000 and 1,000. And the same thing apply. You can see now we have if we lose all the time, then it's gonna be around 19 trades before we can actually lose the account. And for my first fund, it's gonna be 23 days. And if I lose that much, then that's fine. I gonna just lose the account. Yeah, I mean, if I trade less than that, I feel like it's not worth to take the challenge and then just risk it, like get a 200,000 and then you risk like too low. It just doesn't worth the risk for me personally. And that is exactly how I trade my life account as well. Because when the life funded, when I pass the phase 2, that is the same risk parameter that I use for the phase 2 is how I trade the life phase as well. And please don't think that is too much, because, well, if you can keep your risk management plan without increase your risk or over leverage or over trade, let's say you just trade 1 or 2 trades a day, you respect your risk management plan, and your result is usually 1 to 2 and sometimes 1 to 3, and your win rate is 20, let's say 25 or 30%, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be around break even and profitable, because, well, if you respect that such risk, then and your trading you have some type of edge, then it's very hard to blow the account. But usually things happen when we lose a few trades in a row and we start to doubt our ability as a trader, and that's where things get ugly. So that is basically how I trade. And before I close the video, I want to share with you a tip. If you pass the phase 2, and then you will probably get your live account logged in very quickly. But what I want to advise you, and probably you will not listen just like I did, but just stop trading for a few days, even for a week. Really, just because, especially if this is the first time you pass, you're gonna have some kind of the urge to make money. But the first time you pass, it's not about the money. It's about getting the refund. Well, do what you usually do, and if you get profits, if it's big one, well, it's nothing to talk about. But even that is a small one, like 2%, 3%, well, that's pretty good. Just stop trading and waiting for the payment split. On FTMO, that's around 2 weeks, and for my first fund, it is 30 days. I know that's quite long, but you need to wait for the refund and for the payment split, because when you get the refund and the payment split, it's gonna relieve a lot of stress. It's gonna relieve a lot of burden on your shoulder, and beside that, it's gonna give you a confidence, gonna give you the sense of freedom. It's like you are trading a line account of 200K, and you are you're not risking any of your real money. You're risking someone else's money. It feels really nice, and it's gonna push your performances if you respect the risk and just do what you do best. So you got some. So you when you got to the life phase, wait a little bit. Wait, and time will decrease the urge to make money in you, and that's when you're going to perform better. And when you got some profits, stop trading on that live funding account. Again, stop trading on that live funding account. And well, I know that you will not be able to stop trading for until the payment split. So just buy a new challenge account. Really, smaller one, who care? Just buy a new challenge account and do a new challenge while you wait for the profit and the profit split and the refund from the live funding account. That is the best thing you can do for yourself. And please don't link all the worst thing you can do is using the trade copier when you just get funded. Because when you make money, that is the worst thing too, because you're gonna have a lot of money, and when you're not ready for such huge amount of money to trade, and you lost one account, that means you lost all the account together. So again, don't use a trade copier when you're not ready. And I think that's pretty decent for a video, and I see you on the next video. Good luck and good trading.